Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I bring you guys awesome interviews. And today it is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Tim Brennan. He plays guitars, accordion, mellotron, whistles, and vocals from the mighty Dropkick Murphys. They've been around going on 3 decades, and that's crazy that this band is still around, and it's awesome that they're still around. They got a new album that's out. This is their, I guess, 9th studio album. Is that right, Tim?
That's right. Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Okay, and it's called 11 Short Stories of Pain and Glory. And it's, I love this band. I love everything that they do for music and what they bring to music. So without further ado, Tim, how you doing?
Great, how are you?
Doing awesome. I'm very excited about 11 Short Stories of Pain and Glory. This is pretty much a album of, put down pretty much and bring yourself back up, rising above. This is a great album from you guys. How personal of an album was this for you guys?
Very personal. I mean, a lot of it has to do with, lyrically anyway, has to do with something that, the whole country is going through at the moment, but New England especially, which is the whole opiate thing, like heroin and people taking pills and overdosing and stuff like that. That's something that's been really affecting us for the past few years, as far as we've had a lot of friends pass away, as we speak, we have friends that are in treatment and everything. So I think that when Ken and Al were doing most of the lyric writing, that was on the forefront of their minds. I mean, Ken has been to probably 30 wakes and funerals by himself in the past year and a half or 2 years. So it's very personal for us, to answer your question. Lyrically speaking, it definitely is something that, like I said, we've been personally dealing with.
What's impressed you the most about making this new album? What's caught your eye, if anything, about it, man?
I'm always impressed with us when we sort of step out of our comfort zone and, continue to do what it is that we do, but expand on our sound a little bit more. And, as the guy who we all throw in when writing lyrics and everything like that. But, Ken and Al write most of the lyrics, and I'm more of a music guy. And so, speaking from that aspect, I'm always impressed with us when we, like I said, when we push the envelope as far as what people assume we're supposed to sound like, and things like that. And so, this is an album where I think we've taken a big step forward musically, as far as what the songs are sounding like.
I thought this is pretty cool, and I didn't know this. For anybody that follows the Dropkick Murphys, they normally stay home to record their albums, which, makes a lot of sense. But now, for this one, you guys left Boston for the first time to record this album with producer Ted Hutt at a studio 30 miles east of El Paso. El Paso, guys?
Right.
Plus, at the Sonic Ranch Studios, and that's a pretty popular studio right now.
It is, yeah.
How was working with him? And let's talk about the location factor. How far was you guys from civilization, pretty much?
We were pretty far. The closest thing was a dollar store, and even that wasn't like walkable. Like you had to get a ride there. But the place itself was amazing. So that helps, and the fact that we're just sort of, we're sleeping in the same property. We're living in the same property as we're working, so we can just sort of wake up in the morning and go to the studio and start working and work until it's time to go to bed. So while it was certainly a different thing for us, it was great. And as far as working with Ted Hutt, this is the 3rd album we've done with him at this point, and he's become, like, speaking just for myself, he's become such a musical mentor for me. And working with him has been absolutely incredible. I've learned so much over the past 3 albums from that guy, and he's a great friend, too.
Any songs off the 11 Short Stories of Pain and Glory album that stand out more to you than any, Tim, if possible?
Yeah, certainly. I think the song 4:15:13, which is about the Boston Marathon bombing, that one stands out because lyrically I don't know that Ken's ever written something that good. The way he sings it is phenomenal. He took sort of a different approach in it, and it came out awesome. apart from that, there's a song called "Kick to the Curb" that I think is one of our. It's sort of hidden in the middle of the album a little bit, but I think it's an awesome. It's one of our better, just sort of like mid-tempo rockers. And then there's a song at the beginning of the album called "Rebels with a Cause" that I think came out amazing. I mean, I love it. I love everything about the entire album, so that's good. There's nothing that I don't that I'm not proud of on this one, which is a good feeling to have, you know.
What helps you guys keep your minds fresh and open to new stuff to write lyrics back? 'Cause, I mean, you guys have been around for a long time, and I'm sure it gets stagnant just a little bit, but what helps you guys?
Yeah. Well, it's always fun to sort of, when it comes time to sit down and write, it's fun to try to find different approaches to coming up with Dropkick Murphy songs and still having them remain Dropkick Murphy songs. But, obviously, when it comes to writing lyrics and stuff like that, shit happens to people every day. So you can always find inspiration if you're looking for it that way. And then musically, like I said, we love, sort of pushing the envelope as far as what people expect us to sound like. So that's always a fun challenge.
I want to go back to when you guys first started just a little bit here, and I want your input on this. When you guys first started out and you added the bagpipes and stuff like that and going outside the box of being like a punk metal band, how was the acceptance of the locals there, and plus even getting airplay? How was the acceptance of that, man?
The band has never been one that's relied on airplay or anything like that, which is nice. It's always been sort of a groundswell of fans sort of spreading the word. And I mean, the band started in 1996, and I joined the band in 2003, so it's been like 14 years now. But, I was a fan when I was a kid. Like when the first record, Do or Die, came out, I was super excited about that. And I mean, speaking as for myself as somebody that was into punk rock and also super into bands like the Pogues and stuff like that, it something rang familiar about it, that as far as crossing over in between those two worlds. And so before I was ever in the band, I was just a fan of the band,
In your own opinion, man, what do you hope the fans take away from the new album once they start to listen to it and start to digest it some? What do you hope they get from it?
I hope that people, like I said earlier, speaking about the music, I think when people really sit and listen to it, they're going to be impressed with. A lot of people think that we're probably just terrible musicians when fortunately I can say that isn't the case.
Right.
And so musically, I'm really excited for people to hear it and say like, oh wow, these guys are actually pretty good at what they do. And I hope people just like the songs and come out to the shows and sing along and can't get any better than that.
Yeah, if folks can't get into you guys, then there's something wrong with them. I mean, seriously.
Nice of you to say.
So what can fans expect at a show from the mighty Dropkick Murphys once they come out to see you guys?
But, we just try to have the best time possible, and we want the crowd to have the best time possible. Everybody's there to have fun. Long gone are the days of the basement punk rock shows with people getting into fights and stuff like that, And now it's more just sort of a very familial and fun environment more than anything. And we just want people to be able to come out for a night and forget about whatever crazy bullshit they have going on in their lives. But God knows there's plenty of that. And just come out and have a good time with us, Do you
like the digital era that we're in right now, to get music recorded quicker and get it out there faster to people than, say, versus 10, 15 years ago, or maybe even back in the 60s and 70s, what it used to be?
In a way, yes, but in a way, no. I mean, I'm partial to the album format myself, so it sucks that, I mean, granted, vinyl is making a resurgence, but it sucks that people being excited about a record coming out and like waiting for it and then listening to the whole thing as a complete, a complete entity, as opposed to going online and cherry picking and streaming songs, So in that sense, it's too bad, but it's nice that people have the ability to pull up and listen to music wherever they are, essentially, As a big music listener myself, that's one of the positive things about it.
What does the Dropkick Murphys bring to the table for music that's not out there right now, man?
we're just trying to sort of keep the old sort of rock and roll thing going, I think we're in an age now where there's a lot of, and all this stuff is cyclical. So, I mean, I'm sure things come back around again and everything. But, these days, music charts are dominated by pop acts and hip hop and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And, we're just carrying the torch for rock and roll like we always have and like we always will.
What made you want to become a musician, Tim? What was that spark that said, that's what I want to do right there?
That's a good question. It was something that, I don't know, something I was very fascinated by as a kid. And when I started teaching myself how to play instruments, it seemed like it was something that I picked up on, that I understood fairly quickly. And especially in a time when, when you're that age and the only thing that really matters is school and how you're doing in school. As somebody that didn't do well in school, when I took to music, it was really, it really just became such a passion for me. And, I just knew that was what I was best at, and that was what I liked doing the most. And, the fact that I've been able to make that my job is incredible.
Is there any show or moment that stands out to you more than any that you can recall being part of Dropkick Murphys, man, possibly?
We played at Fenway Park a couple of times, and that was pretty incredible. We did 2 nights by ourselves, and then we played there opening for the Foo Fighters. That's obviously a pretty big hallmark,
Yeah.
To be able to do something like that in your hometown is pretty incredible.
Plus, you guys had Tessie that came out on MVP 2014. No?
That's right.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa, Dropkick Murphys are on this game.
Yeah.
I'm a Reds fan. I'm just going to say I'm a Reds fan, and they're going to be shitty this year. So,
oh, really?
I mean, they just don't. I don't know what the deal is. I guess it's just. I don't know if it's just because they're a small market team, or they honestly, the management just don't give a damn.
Right. Yeah.
That's
tough, man. I mean, it's a tough thing to do. That, like, the older I get, the more I realize, like, God, talk about pressure.
Oh yeah.
Like, as far as those guys, the stuff that those guys are under, like, people just expecting you to be great 24 hours a day, 365 days a year.
Sure. Yeah.
Well, it's like, holy cow. I mean, like, there are nights when we'll go on stage and, like, we're on tour so much that it gets to the point where there are times where you get the flu or something like that, and then
Sure.
You're playing 3 shows in a row with the flu, with 103-degree temperature and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, well, this is the only night these people get to see this show, so, like, I have to go out there and give 150%,
Sure.
And to be a professional athlete like that, especially in, like, a town like Boston or something like that, where people are so passionate about the sport.
Oh yeah.
Where if you screw up, you're the fucking pariah until somebody else screws up worse than you just did.
Yep.
That's got to be tough. So, I mean, I feel bad for those guys when they're not doing well, but at the same time, you hope that they care enough to want to do better.
Yeah, and like my Reds, they're trading everybody away. They just traded Brandon Phillips. I can see them trading Brandon Phillips away. I mean, he's not really offensively produced here lately, but still though, he's been with the Reds forever, dude. And what about you? What about your Red Sox up there? I know you guys just lost to Poppy, but I liked Poppy too. I thought what he brought to baseball was just an outstanding, humbling. He got it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He got it.
And we got to hang with him a couple times, and he was the nicest dude too. Like, to be that amazing and still be the nicest guy ever. Those are the people that really impress me. And I think they're in spring training right now, so they're down in Florida. I'm sure that's nice. As I'm sitting here in snowy Des Moines, Iowa.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's 72 degrees in Boston right now for some reason. And we're in 20-degree Iowa. Obviously it's early on, so who knows what's going to happen. But, hopefully things look okay. I know that they made a pretty big trade to get a pitcher, and they got rid of a couple guys to get this one guy, and so people were speculating about that. But apparently that dude's been a stud down in spring training, so hopefully it all goes well.
But every year though, man, the socks are there every fucking year. I mean, they're always there.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to be at that point now.
Yeah.
It didn't used to be like that.
Right, for sure. Right, yeah. I mean, God, look at the Cubs. Look how bad they used to be. And then finally they broke the curse. So, yeah, I mean, it goes in waves. As long as the damn Yankees don't win, that's fine by me.
Sure.
I know you guys get this a lot, but what's it mean to you when you guys receive an email from a fan or prior to your shows or after the shows? They'll just come up to you guys and say, hey, look, your music has pulled me through a tough time. It's gave me inspiration to overcome obstacles. Or it's just maybe even to relax at the everyday bullshit that we go through. What does that mean to you guys?
That means everything to us. I mean, especially as somebody, like I said, who grew up such a giant music fan, and having fans that meant that much to me, to be in a position where somebody is saying that we're that band to them, that's amazing. It's unbelievable. I know that when the guys started the band in 1996, they never thought that would be something that happened,
I want to talk to you about the Claddagh. I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly. The Claddagh Fund, is that correct?
Yep.
Let's talk about that a little bit. What is that for you guys?
We were just getting asked a lot to do charity shows and to raise money for this and that. And so I think we were just trying to use, and when we would do those things, our fans would come out in droves and support whatever it was. So I think it was the idea of let's use this small bit of notoriety that we have for as good as we can possibly use it. And the Claddagh Fund was set up to directly distribute funds to substance abuse places, children's homes, veterans, things like that. And so essentially we just wanted to use, like I said, the small bit of notoriety that we have and the amount of fans that we have for good.
I just like to say, as a fan of your guys' music, thank you all so much. Johnny, I Hardly Knew You is my favorite all-time Dropkick Murphy song. So,
nice.
Yeah, I love it, man.
We've been doing that one live recently.
How can folks stay in touch with you guys? Buy some merchandise. Buy this new album that's out right now. How can they do that, Tim?
Yeah, absolutely. We have our website, obviously, dropkickmurphys.com. We're on Twitter at Dropkick Murphys. We're also on Instagram. They're posting pictures from the shows every night. So, you can most certainly find us out there.
Before I let you go, good sir, will you care to do a promo for my show?
Absolutely. Hey, this is Tim Brennan from the Dropkick Murphys, and you are listening to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thanks, Tim.
Thank you very much. Have a good rest of your day.